Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we are going to be casting another round of 16 for the DreamHack Valencia. And as you can see by the Protoss Nexus, which doesn't quite want to be seen, we are playing with the Game Heart interface once again. And yes, it is actually going to be a PvP right now. We talked a little bit about them in the last series, and here they are, up the top right side of the map. It is going to be HuK, and down the bottom left side of the map, it is going to be StarDust. So both Protoss are both very good Protoss players, obviously. I think that goes without saying at this stage of the tournament. And let's take a little bit of a look back at each of these players and how well they've done in the tournament. Now, HuK is a Canadian player, and he plays for Evil Geniuses, so that's pretty awesome. Now, round of 64, he actually had a bit of problems. He defeated Ro16, and he defeated No Name, although he did drop a game to No Name, and he actually lost versus Elfie, who we previously saw beating Morrow out in the previous round of 16 that we actually cast. So yes, and in the round of 32, how did HuK go? He had defeated Whiterah and Rhett without losing a game to either of those guys. So yeah, pretty awesome there. But he did lose versus Yu-Gi-Oh. So Yu-Gi-Oh also making it to the round of 16, and in fact made it to the quarterfinal by beating Daishi. So yes, he's got a couple of people who he's already lost to, who are in the quarterfinals. So that's going to be a little bit disconcerting, but I mean, you never know. There's still a ton of people in this tournament. And here we go. StarDust down the bottom left side of the map. He is from South Korea. He is playing for the My Insanity clan. And yeah, how did he do? Round of 64. Absolutely going nuts. He defeated Morrow, Baby Tuss, and Darko Micron without dropping a single game. Very, very strong there. And in the round of 32, he defeated Stefano, Daishi, and Tefl. So he did drop a game versus Stefano and Tefl, but I mean, he's proved very, very strong so far. He hasn't met anybody to give him a massive amount of grief. Well, he hasn't met anybody who's beaten him, is basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, doing pretty good, and it looks like neither player is choosing to go for a very fast Nexus on this very, very small base. Although it does look like we may be going for some, I don't know, some sort of hidden tech over here, possibly. I can't really say for certain, but yes, the good old Game Heart interface there. I can't actually tell what's happening without switching these guys over, in which case this resources tab goes away. So that's going to be a Twilight Council, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, meanwhile HuK is going for some fairly standard stuff. Looks like he's actually going for some very early pressure, a Stalker, maybe with a Sentry to back it up. So this, I don't think this is going to do too much. I mean, he's got his own Stalker coming out, and with a Mothership Core to back it up, I think he should be fine. But yeah, I mean, this probe should probably be doing something, but he's, there we go, he's just waiting. This is a Dark Shrine, man. So we have gone from a little bit cheesy to full-blown cheese, Bronze League style. And we are going to be seeing a very fast Dark Shrine coming down from StarDust. And meanwhile, HuK is going to transition into some fairly standard play. Getting, god damn, this is starting to piss me off. Alright, so the Nexus coming down. This is a Nexus expansion. And what else do we have going down? This is a Robo facility. So yeah, very, very standard play from HuK so far. And yeah, he's going to be looking very, very good in this tournament. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. These buildings, man, they just do not want to come back up. There they go. I do not know why they do that, but yes, it's obviously somebody's fault, and it's yeah. Alright, so we've got some DT Shrine stuff coming out. Now, we do have a Robo facility coming out for HuK, so he shouldn't have any problems, because we can assume that he'll get an Observer out. No, he's going to have a Mortal coming out extremely early, and this may be a mistake, I gotta say, because yeah, he really, really needs an Observer ASAP, and the DTs coming in are going to wreck his world. They're going to kill a ton of probes, they could, I mean, he could get an observer out, but how many probes will die? And look at this guy. No, no, you do not attack the sentries. You want to attack the workers. There we go. He's chronoing out an observer now. And he's not quite attacking the workers yet, but there he goes, starting to go to work. And another third DT coming in. But how many workers will he lose? The question is, how many? And yeah, the observer coming out right now. So that's going to be the end of that harassment. One more Dark Templar down here, along with a couple of Stalkers and a Mothership Core. He's actually going to be doing quite a bit of damage. The other guys were worried about the DT, but they've taken him out now, and they're going to clean these guys up. So, a little bit of cheese there from StarDust, and you got a fair amount of probes there, maybe like 8, 10. I'm going to say probably a bit more than 10, because HuK would have been up on workers having the Nexus down a lot faster, but yeah, let's have a look at the units lost. Yeah, probably about 10 there. So nice job there, but yeah, I mean, he's I do not know how. Let's get back to this. How far ahead HuK was in the first place, and how far ahead he is now. I mean, hasn't been built yet, so I think those 10 workers are easily going to be offset by HuK just having the Nexus down a lot earlier. And maybe not completely offset. He's got another one down, so he should be able to just push the workers now at the same speed that HuK is, but still, I mean, I don't know. I really do not know. I mean, HuK has the bigger army by just a little bit, and something's being attacked here. There we go, just knocking out that pylon, make sure that no more DTs come down, and yeah, both players doing a pretty good job. StarDust doing a very nice bit of harass. It did alright. It didn't do a crazy amount of damage, but it did enough to sort of keep StarDust in the game, I guess, because he was falling behind just by going for that crazy DT sort of stuff, by not getting an expansion out as fast as HuK did. But meanwhile, HuK getting right into the game, going for a robotics bay, getting the Colossus out. StarDust not really going for any sort of advanced tech after the DT's coming out, and here we go. HuK is going to see absolutely everything in this game. That was a bit of a... I keep forgetting to turn that bloody noise off. But there we go. I just finished downloading something, I think. And here we go. A very, very nice play here. Getting the force field down. Keeping it down. The army cannot get back up. And the DTs are going nuts on the workers here. Great, great job here by StarDust. I don't think he got as many workers as he liked, though, because the workers are all getting right up near the force field. But he is going to get away with most of those units. And yeah, these guys would love to get in here. Once he gets a Colossus though, that won't be too much of a problem, because I think the Colossus do crush those things when they walk over them. But yeah, very, very sneaky tactic there by StarDust, but I really, really like it. He cut down a few more workers there, and he managed to save most of his forces by putting those force fields down on the front ramp. So yes, he's outplaying HuK a little bit there, but HuK is just technically with the macro, with the units he's getting out, just mainly with the macro, he's just doing a really good job. And StarDust is shifting a little bit here, a little bit there, trying to do some fancy stuff. But every time he tries to do something fancy, that's another probe that he isn't building, another ground basic unit that he's not building. And HuK is just going for broke pretty much with the standard stuff. And yeah, it's not really starting to add up, but he's not far behind, definitely. I mean, his working count is very, very strong. Not quite as good as StarDust. That those attacks that he's done, particularly the last one, I think has done a great job. And yeah, I don't know, man. HuK is going pretty standard stuff. But StarDust went with those two attacks, with the DTs and the drops and all that sort of stuff. He may have bought himself an edge here, and time will tell, I guess, because HuK is definitely not letting that worker advantage get out of hand. He's definitely catching up, and I think we've pretty much equalized, although StarDust looks like he is going to be getting, what do we got for upgrades? He hasn't got Storm yet, but he has got these guys. So here we go, there's going to be a bunch of Archons going on. And Archons do great damage versus biologicals. Not super high damage versus mechanical units, but still fairly decent. So HuK with a large amount of Immortals, Stalkers and Colossus coming out, he's not going to be too worried about the Archons, but then again the Archons I don't believe they're armoured, so Immortals aren't going to do a crazy amount of damage back to them either, so maybe it'll just be about even out. And here we go. Warp Prism coming in, it's probably got a couple of DTs in there, or maybe a couple of sentries, and yeah, he's not going to get anywhere close to that. Another Hallucinated Phoenix coming around, just having a look. And here's the third base of the game coming down from StarDust. And yeah, we will see exactly how well this base does. Because, yeah, I mean, this has got a bullseye painted on it right now. Be beautiful for HuK to move in, take that base out, and get a third of his own at the same time. But, I mean, with this pretty hefty force, look at these Archons all over the place. Pretty awesome. The upgrades actually, I would have thought maybe at the 15-minute mark they'd get a little bit more. We have seen some players who go for broke, they get 2-2 by the time at the 15-minute mark, but that is a Terran player, so maybe it's a little bit different for Protoss, but regardless, I feel like maybe both players could push it a little bit more, and HuK is just about to get 2 weapons, and StarDust wailing a little bit behind, but still quite good, and HuK putting down 5 gateways, man, so he has got all the economy that he wants, and he's actually quite a bit behind StarDust, about 12 workers, so that's definitely not good, and StarDust continuing to produce them. So HuK looking to hit the hammer down off 2 bases, and StarDust is looking to get his third base going nuts, and really wants to go for the massive army. You can see he's already pulled 30 supply ahead, and he is just going to be continuing to rise, and the only disadvantage I think is that he doesn't have Colossus, so he's got a lot of units that can tank Colossus damage, the Immortals, the Archons, the Stalkers as well, but I mean there's just a ton of Colossus here, 5 Colossus, and they've got 2 weapons, they've actually got 3 weapons on the way, so yeah, that amount of damage, man, is really, can just do crap loads of stuff to all sorts of things. I mean, it gets to the point where even, if you get enough Colossus, even Immortals, I mean, they're going to be a little bit worried about that. But still, this amount of Immortals, I mean, you get the Archons to tank the damage, you get the Immortals close enough, the Colossus just absolutely disintegrate. These guys do a massive amount to armoured, and Colossus, of course, are armoured units. But StarDust getting his own Colossus out at this moment, he feels like he's macroed up enough. And yeah, I mean, HuK has got to start punishing him, because HuK has chosen not to go for a fast third. He's not as fast as StarDust anyway, but he's thinking about a third right now. And meanwhile, both players are going in. We've got a whole bunch of Zealots there. Do these guys not have speed? They probably should have speed by now, but I guess they don't. And meanwhile, HuK moving in, and we have synchronous attacks going on here, so it does look like we're going to come down to a base race. And you saw that Colossus, man, just completely disintegrating as soon as it got close to the Immortals. And here we go, Colossus coming in, a lot of damage being done all over the place. And yeah, he's actually warping in a bunch more Zealots over here, so it looks like he's not going to try and defend his base too much. HuK not really doing it either. I'm going to say that StarDust maybe has a bit of an advantage because he has got this third base, and yeah, he's even got a Nexus over there, so he's definitely knows what's going on in terms of the third base, so I think he should be able to win this. As far as army goes, he probably would win a straight up army battle as well. I don't really know, he doesn't have a massive amount of Colossus, whereas HuK does have the 5 Colossus, and HuK must feel like maybe he's got a shot at taking out this army, because he is going to move back, but whether or not he'll be able to get back in time to save all his buildings, I do not know, man. He is going to give the GG there. I was about to say this game would have been over if these Zealots actually had speed, but they don't. However, HuK, seeing this situation as it was, he does not have any tricks up his sleeve, whereas StarDust had this Nexus over there, and even though he didn't know about it, he's just like, alright, this is not going well for me. I think I'm just going to give it up there, and HuK gives the GG, so some very strong play there by StarDust. getting at the third base, making it happen. HuK was going for a he had a pretty decent army at one point. He had the Colossus tech out a lot faster, and his army was very scary. He might have made a push at that point, but he didn't. Right when StarDust was starting to think about his third, and HuK probably had a bit of a superior army, he may have made a push, but I don't think by any means necessary that he was guaranteed to do some damage at that point. I think StarDust probably still could have held him off, maybe lost some probes, maybe would have been on the back foot quite badly, but I don't think HuK ever had a point where he could just say, alright, my army is way better, I'm going to wipe this guy out. Because, I mean, he was banking heavily on his Colossus tech, and StarDust had Archons and Immortals, so, I mean, what are you going to do? Anyway, that is game number 1, and StarDust has taken it away. So, moving on, game number 2, we'll see if HuK can take it back on and head off to an ace match, or if if StarDust is just going to keep ploughing his way through and take it to the quarterfinals nice and quickly. We will find out in just a sec. This is Hairy Muppet, and I will see you guys then.